Different way to enter in a stream there, Cole, but also hi. I know one of my guys tasked me with trying to make a random magic item using a head of a carcass, silver dragon head, and some magic. I run a artificer in that campaign with them, and it's Damien and I, a few of our other friends. It's been a campaign we've been having running for 4 years now, like about a yearish break. We've been doing a lot of like small one shots that are other people who want to try DMing, so they're doing another small campaign currently. Yeah, he wanted me that, and then he gave me a hand axe and a green dragon wing. Try to see about meshing together, but I figured it's it's streaming day, so I was like, I'll stream today and make it different. Figured I did well with all sorts of different numbers and whatnot. Like last night, the whole raid I got, plus pushing out, we were having D&D day. I got like average 2.9. Hoping it'd be a little bit higher, but it is what it is. I ain't gonna complain much. What did I get? Low off my board, so to speak. Play that way whenever someone else comes in. Jump in and follow you, help you out a little bit too. Go back and forth here between stream. Yeah, the only problem is it seen what a Critical Role doing taking all of their previous campaign characters and then had the crew put them together. Then had them like a team versus team. It was like a 4-3, and it was Matt Mercer and another player. There's both kind of the co-DM. It was Matt doing all the mechanics. It was supposed to be the other player was the evil guy. He was the game show host, and they did that on their live thing in Chicago a couple of Thursdays ago. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I got the crew to do a bunch of random like activities instead of just normal D&D. Like they would roll. They did 6 games, one for each of the attributes slash skills, whatever you want to call it. And intelligence they had or dexterity was they had to pop balloons. I believe that or it was strength. And I think where one it wasn't, the other one was like a little small ring toss, and they had like this horn-ish. It was supposed to be a traveler, but it looked like a dick on the helmet. Yeah, it wasn't well thought through, but it worked out. And essentially, they were supposed to throw the rings. They had decent-sized rings, and they had smaller rings. Smaller rings counted more. They were supposed to get the most on that. The other one was a dance-off, which was one was them taking shots of tequila and hot sauce. I believe it was some alcoholic drink, and they weren't supposed to make a face at all. And yeah, another one was them blindfolded doing charades essentially, or Pictionary I think was the very end of it. I skipped one. I think it was like charisma or something. They were going to do it, but they're like, nah, it's something else, and they're like, that's funny. But it seemed to have an interesting twist. After drawing up adding whatever I end up putting together, I have a giant file like Google Docs, that's what it's called, for all of my different class shenanigans, anything I've homebrewed, class-wise, race-wise, campaign. I've done items, weapons, enemies, different NPCs. I've tried to have full access if I switch computers again. As long as I remember what my Google is, I always have access. And I have a huge file of just that. And I have backup digitals for around 3 copies. The font's off, which is why it was really like a little bit of misprint. I think it was on purpose, not really a misprint in that case, but decent filing systems in that route. Some ideas between players that we wanted to do, either us co-op, that way everyone's had access to it, we don't have to worry about losing it. I have a crap ton of stuff. That, I think that's where I also put the that one shot we did for Roll to Toe, the Error and Error. I have all of my D&D stuff up there, but like I stopped doing it on paper. I'll put it on paper first, just so it looks good, and then I'm just like, okay, let me just put it digitally, so that way if I lose the book, I try using my notebooks for in-session notes. If I start streaming them, I'm just going to be mainly using the notebook then for quick jotted notes. That way, all I got to do is go, oh, okay, let me add this. That, and I can, it's easier for me to share too. I noticed that a lot of my guys came up with I call it it's an enemy to fight, the Crazed Weapon Master. The idea behind it gave me an awful lot. Kind of gave me the idea was he jumped off an edge and he got skewered by an enemy. I was like, ooh, what if we had to fight a creature that sheathed its weapon? Great weapon variants. That's great axe, great sword. Third one, I can't remember off the top of my head. There's like only 3 of them in all D&D 5e. That or probably could easily be brought over to Pathfinder because I made a very I gave like a skeletal system. Just from that alone, I left it so that way up to any DM like here's what you absolutely need. The concept go forward, but you can do whatever you want with it. But the idea was okay, your party starts going off in the distance. All of a sudden you see this giant, what's that room? It's huge. Going on this peak. This is what I also have. Oh, hey, Lou, thanks. Appreciate the raid. It was weird. I was just watching you. If only I could read and type at the same time. Preferable. Kind of weird, I'll be honest, trying to watch myself while I got the stream manager up. And those coming in, we just hey, campfire people gotta stick together. Any server on part, I try to spread love and whatnot. For those joining, I am Gaming Snake. Snake is fine. Me too. It's gonna be a long one. Those coming in, we're just starting off talking about D&D. Play cool. If not, I'm just shooting ideas of what I've done. I currently have a group besides one I stream with that we do no streams. Right now, we're trying to get further future-wise that forward. And then probably at the 30-ish minute mark, maybe 45 minutes, switch to Dynasty Warriors Origin. Lucy, thanks for the follow. Other than that, if I'm not playing with people from Campfire, playing with Jetta and Full Minds, who's also in floating, lurking, got my commands up and running. Them part of Road to Tote. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, great club. That's great. Right now, I'm just writing down ideas for my crew that we don't do stream yet with. I was just looking up actually one homebrew idea I had. What's wrong with that? Going over an enemy I had put together. So it's called Crazed Weapon Master, CWM for short. He was a huge humanoid, chaotic evil. As long as you gave it some kind of great weapon, it was fine. But the great weapon was sheathed in the last victim of this enemy. I was trying to picture it as this grotesque scene of this giant humanoid character walking, like say in a forest or something, or they're in the mountains, and it's all wrapped up in other humanoid-ish others. And you can't quite see its weapon because it's sheathed in what seems to be the most recent kill, and it's just. I pictured a sword just because it was easier. Sword going in through the most horrible way of possible into to its enemy or its prey, and just being just an intimidating factor. I want to get the hell out of here. Like that was the whole premise behind it. So he doesn't wear armor. He got magical skin from being a master for so long that he's just like kind of like a mixed barbarian with monk ideas. He's kind of got this magic skin from knowing Kisowa up to his PC to 16. Tried keeping him at a challenge 8. I know one of my guys was looking over because it seems kind of uh, yeah, kind of low due to the damage. But I was like, eh. Does it tear rifts and travel back and forth? I gave it so that even the sheath was slightly still alive, so the sheath could actually would grapple you instead of like the master grappling you. It was just the sheath, so you could just leave that there and get a grab like, oh hey, oh shit, now I'm stuck. There's a bunch of necrotic damage and whatnot, and stunning strikes, disarming, has the ability to leap. Only weapons, so besides the great weapons, I gave it was a spear and darts. I think small simple shenanigans that wasn't too terrible. Small description. The sheath gets destroyed after words drop monsters. Strength and dexterity by 2. Also loses the grapple from the sheath. So it was an idea. I was like, I just wanted to go minimum. Have a general idea of where I was going for challenge rating wise, and then hey, here's my particular creature. your next turn. That's what I was as I was saying, it was kind of reminding me of the gold goblin treasure seekers. It's like, you know, you have that random satchel of fucking goods. Like I could see just like the bear being like, what's that character from League of Legends called? She's like this really sweet, innocent looking chick. Like she's like, looks like she's like maybe at most 7 or 8, but she carries around a stuffed teddy bear, and she's always talking to Teddy. But when you move her around, she does have like a bigger stuffed animal. Teddy runs around and does all the damaging for her, and she just tells Teddy what to do. Oh, I can't remember her name. I probably can fucking stuff. I don't want to. I'm just sitting there like, oh shit. Oh, it was Annie, okay. Annie and then Timbers were the character duo. I remember her, like, victory, she would be having the teddy bear, like, in her hand. She'd, like, hugging it, like, oh, okay, we won. I could just see it, like, instead of Annie being there, he's like, oh no, I'm lost. Tear, I gotta find Annie. The whole, like, Alice and shit going down that whole different rabbit hole. I mean, it's like a very open, ended character. Even to play, even now that you can play as a teddy bear in DND, is a better option. Which I could see that the DM being an option opened up to your players as well instead of just the enemy. Or like I could use Rift Tear, like Misty Step, with probably like more teleportation. Where I can sit there and be like, oh, I can go from say 30 feet away, now I can be 15, like, and the character, whatever our target is, sees me now 15 feet behind it or something, some movie numbers or some shenanigans like that. Now I have advantage because now they no longer see me and I've broken line of sight. I do them stuff. Be perfect for a rogue, probably be broken for a rogue, especially. Spellcasters would be beneficial, like, oh shoot, the rest of my party's down and I'm just a squishy spellcaster. I'm getting out of dodge. Peace out, losers. Kind of shenanigans. I was thinking originally having the stream just be D&D, but I have no idea. I think I'm just gonna play it by ear. I just put another game option up just in case. I wasn't initially going to stream until I was like, you know what, I haven't done anything, I'm doing kind of good, so let me give this a shot. Plus, it gives me great things to push out too. Like I know, what is it? Tomorrow, Porto will be doing another D&D session. You'll be live for that. I want to say it is around between 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the earliest to as late as 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, due to players, due to DM setup and whatnot. I believe it's either we're doing Kay's Demon small campaign, or Melty's Slate of Princesses. For some reason, my brain is escaping me on what we call. I know it's something demons, Dungeons and Demons, or some shenanigans like that. So it's either one of those two campaigns tomorrow. I know we finished Jetta's House of Danger last Tuesday. And then with that, Friday, Damien Allfather and I are going to be. Don't know if I'll be with him for the first portion of it. I believe we're going to do what we did last. He's trying to do what happened last Friday, kind of a Scoop Friday / Friday, whatever you want to really call it. Playing Phasmo or some horror game with a few people from Campfire server. Time is to be determined. I want to say I think the last time we did 9:30 CDT, and I think they wanted to try to aim earlier, so maybe an hour or two. It all depends on players and IRL stuff. Other than that, I am actually looking to potentially either just for my channel, like my solo shenanigans, and just help other people boost up shenanigans by like doing an Nox system or whatever. Do either Star Wars DND. I have resources for that. I would be using the StarWars5e.com, shorthanded to SW5e.com. That's all the resources, and it's in the Dungeons and Dragons 5e similar mechanic style, except touched up with Star Wars universe. I have a whole campaign homebrewed, and what I did was I took whatever Disney and George Lucas ever crafted. Those are two different verses of Star Wars. I've made a fan verse, so that's gonna be a whole new twist of it. All characters anyone's ever realized, all planets that anyone's ever known. The names are still the same. Maybe their alignments have changed. I have a bunch of old books from before Disney took over, or just as they took over, for their concept of like turntable-based RPG for it. Force and Destiny book references. I have the original Star Wars RPG. I have a lot of resources. I'm going to use whatever Wiki's got to keep me kind of technically canon shenanigans. Got a lot of old legacy books I can make reference to. But my whole idea behind it is whatever's in the books and whatnot, it's free game for me. I am going to I just want the screen. I got it. Smack. Didn't realize how speckled my screen was. Not full. Stuff part was. Yeah, I have that. I was looking to do that. Do a bunch of one-shots D&D or small campaigns. So, not to take away from Roll to Tope, I just wanted to do something different. I realized I'm actually pretty good at D&D to push out more of my skills as a DM/player, with my creative mindset to bouncing ideas off. Like, I'd like to make campaigns with people that like I can say, like, hey, I am done DMing for now. Would you like to take over? Or like you're like say you're one of those people that ends up being a co-DM with me. You really want to? You know what? Hey, since you'll be there anyways, let me take over as DM and get the training wheels off for a bit. Okay, yeah, cool. I can be a chaotic player. I tend to play enough to guide. It all depends on how the rest of the players structure themselves, structure the character they've designed. The DM has the dungeon design / campaign design, and relative understand which rules we're using compared to what the homebrew ideas the DM's using as rules, and where that gray area is like what can we do and what can't we do, doing left and right. Yeah, I got Star Wars. I have a small starters guide for Marvel superheroes tabletop. Hey, retro. Oh, so all my junk I actually was taking off texture. You can barely see off my walls, and I just haven't gotten enough money yet to get spackle. So once I get enough spackle, I'm going to cover up this hideous. Just be fucked up. And then I'm going to paint my walls with this nice blue. I'm going to do like a light blue on my ceiling. The walls should be like a darker-ish blue. I'm going to do some hand drawing and paint characters on them. That way it doesn't matter. This stuff here directly is PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 2, which I tend to stream games off of. I got a stack full of. Yeah, no, just a few ideas I had generally pushed out that I was like, oh, I can do some of these. I want to. The community is great. Like, the D&D community is fantastic. I've never had an issue with the D&D community, like player-wise. I think out of the grouping of people I've ever yes, became part of, whether it was through apps finding out, you get a lot of like old heads that have been around since like first and second edition. And it's like, okay, back then they didn't have dice storing some of the copies. So shit, they have to get used to like if they did hop in when 3 and 4 were out and get a general idea of the dice mechanics, or hop to like Pathfinder, they might get lost in the sauce. But they know the creatures, know the lore, so they have a general idea, and they're always good to like bounce ideas off of too. Like, oh, I've never seen this happen. And I'm looking to invest in some books for Pathfinder actually for second edition. Damien Allfather, another guy of mine that I play with, Cole and I have hung out with him. I know he's not in right now, but I know he will be probably here and there. He sits there and when asked me about Warhammer 40k and asked me about Pathfinder. Like, he had a starter book. It was confusing as all hell for Warhammer. There was a lot of extra math I don't like. I just like being able to roll, seeing the numbers, do the math. Like, okay, this is something you can keep doing every time. And I go, where my calculations going on? Or I gotta do rounding up and down, just extra work that doesn't make it too much extra. It should be a simplistic game enough to be like, hey, use my imagination, use where the dice are telling me, here's where I can do mechanical speaking, written down rules. I think the other shout out, oh my, music. You can always refer to those. Yeah, those are some ideas I had for my future of my stream and whatnot. Just because there's a lot going on, and I plan on opening up my own shop for tabletopping, not just D&D, not just Pathfinder, not just Warhammer. There's a lot of Kickstarters out there right now going off for like, I think there's one that was like a PCG styled one. There's one for Assassin's Creed. There's Fallout out there. There's all kinds of different tabletop games out there that are all variations. So I would invest in them, get the understanding for them, and then resell them. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that company's going to make money. It would be through my shop making the money. It's like, oh, okay, people actually like this particular universe, and they go buy books into that. Now it's an online thing like Star Wars is, which kind of sucks. Can't make profit unless it's, I think, they have Real Age, or Rebellion Age. They actually have minis for it, but I think it's a whole other structure style, its own little thing that. Like Warhammer, where it's like more of a war game than it's a war tabletop game. Break down this particular weapon, possible side effects, so to speak. trying to make a useful-ish hand axe, because most people, when they get a hand axe, yeah, cool, they'll upgrade the damage, cool, they'll upgrade the number of sided dice, so range and what go wrong or damage-wise. So like, oh hey, I have a hand axe, ooh cool, I can throw it, or I can offhand hit you with it. That's what I do. I'm trying to make it not necessarily a main weapon, but it's still useful. Or at least more useful. charge used to lower the damage. If you rolled a 10 or lower, the bag does double damage that day. Every dawn, the charge is reset on a D12 roll, but if the charge hits 0, the bag becomes a bag to the ethereal realm. Bag reduces damage to 0, then resets half the charge spent to avoid the damage. The bag is placed into a bag of holding, while the rift and pulls anything within 30 feet radius in that same realm. Other than that, the bag holds no items or spell slots for magic spells. It's just literally just emptiness. It just portal to the ethereal realm that potentially weakens whatever's going at you. And I had another one which was more about like, oh shoot, we need to get it out quick. We need someone else to hold item. Parchment of separation. When using one charge, it has 12 charges, so you can pretty much hold or tear off a good 12 decent chunks without losing it. If you use one of the charges, so essentially, if you use the charges, tearing off a piece of this page. On a bonus action, you would hand that piece to a willing creature, which on that creature's action causes the holder and the piece holder to switch places immediately. But you have to be within range. Range is 80 feet. Decent group. So especially like if you're a squishy and you got a barbarian, you haven't used it, like, hey, I use this switch. Boom. That's a BBEG. When squishy, because squishy doing DPS, but barbarian's tanky and has high defense, or the paladin's got high defense. Immediately switch, especially when they're 80 feet apart. Yeah, in the clutch, especially barbarian. No movement is used for this magic use. Once the magic is activated, it burns that piece, which means the item is no more after all charges are expended. I had a couple of good ideas. Have a crossbow of soul snatching, which requires you to be considered undead. So if you are reborn, Dathmir, I believe Hexborn's considered that. This is a crossbow that uses bolts, considered light. Range is 103-20. Does 5d8 piercing damage plus 3d6 necrotic damage. The wielder weapon causes immense pain to a target that links into the wielder. Every time you cause damage, the necrotic, as the holder, the arcane ability of the arrow being shot, actually heals you. And then after a 5th shot, the arrow, or the bolt isn't used. An automatic 5th arrow is 80 to 89 gives you, healing, then 10% or lower, or 0 to 9% gives you damage. Or, play with it that way. You can easily do too, to bounce ideas that way. Just, see what's going on and whatnot. That a class, another item I personally used was Contract of the Dead, which was supposed to be the contract of Son of Nganza from Ghost Rider. Similar idea. I have all the works for every race. How it would change them into more of a Ghost Rider. I was working on a subclass for Paladin Oath of Hidden Emotions. So I have some spells I've crafted myself. Warp Gas. Essentially be like, the idea behind that was to play with physically gas molecules, so like oxygen. After you have if it's a creature you mess with, say like a wolf, so, it's something, it's in the similar standards like you. Now if you're like fire plane, water plane, you're unsure, you might not use that spell, right? But if it's in the material realm where everyone uses this quality area like I do, painted to helium, or something poisonous to that creature, boom, get on the ground. So I think that's a level spell. Yeah, level 5 spell for Bard, Druid, and Wizard. Range of 60 feet, requires concentration for 5 minutes. You take 30-foot cube. As the caster, you have the ability to change the cast to harmful. Creature must make DC save. I believe I did DC Constitution save. On fail, takes a 6d8 force damage. On success is half as much. And you can either increase the cube's space or up the damage. The Nephiums from Darksiders, I made them into a homebrew race. I was working on Spider Folk, similar to that of Shelob in Lord of the Rings, but instead of just it being like how it was in Baldur's Gate, where you had like half elf, half spider mutation, it was more of I can turn into a spider at will and back and forth. Kind of like old school Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition, 4th edition Dragonborn version. It looked human. They could go back and forth between human and dragon, and that's it. And based off their level would be determined what age or what variation of dragon they were. Have a weapon called Needle Pins of Passion. It was this was supposed to be a magic item to control. Yeah, thank you, Lou, for the alert. Yeah, you probably are like, let's talk about nerd shenanigans I ain't into. This item was supposed to help with wild magic. I think I might have to go back to revisit that. That might have been an idea someone pushed me that I just happened to save. Made items for a NPC of mine. That was supposed to benefit the NPC to help go with the aesthetic. Essentially, he was a monk wizard that went with time magic, chronology, or some shenanigans in the pronunciation, and it's the monk of long death. He's got either have his 4 or 5 levels in monk, and the rest is all wizard. Just so you can do like little spells and whatnot. It was supposed to be essentially what the whole concept behind him was to be able to go in and out of all of my campaigns, all the other campaigns that my groups ever played with, or if it was, I was running another campaign on the side, this character was supposed to connect them. That was like the idea was like he was around when the Great Library of Alexandria was burned. But no, I actually saved a good couple of books that you guys might have known about. This thing is even more important. But he essentially can play with time back and forth, and he doesn't age, even though he shows small signs of it. Having in D&D Beyond, full backstories. I have my homebrew one shot, or was supposed to be the one shot, small campaign. Our my crew's true homebrew that we want to film slash stream. Yeah, I have a lot. And that was kind of like stuff I wanted to push out and share that particular knowledge bases with people. So I know some people it's and I tend to like change things after I wrote them down, like for the item anti-dragon barrier, have it where like reusing the word action. Okay, I'll just change it to when I'm mentioning the weapon or the item itself. I'll just reuse the item's name, so like barrier. Pardon me. For some reason, I don't always give them the best title. I always feel bad. Like, I know there's better ways of, like, titling things. Or ways to make it sound cooler, and I'm like, I don't have thought process on a lot of that, or yes, try and name it what it's supposed to. Essentially, when you think about it, it's, hey, that's potentially what it's supposed to, rather than, oh no, it doesn't do what its name suggests at all. The other thing too, I always feel bad for some weapons is like the stats. Like as much as they suck, a lot of thrown properties, their range suck. Or it's like the range doesn't suck, it's just the damage itself sucks. Like I think a dagger can be thrown, but it's like the same damage as a dart, like a D4. Just one. I was like, really? When a hand axe can do so much more, and you can easily change it from slashing to bludgeoning damage, but I decided I don't want to throw the blade of the axe and make, like, when I throw it to make it stuck. I wanted to throw and then use the handle to bonk somebody, knock them out. So now it becomes slashing damage, it's bludgeoning damage. It's full of stuff like that outside. Why didn't I just think of that? But I guess I could always try and later, I guess, in my career, like, go and attempt to go work at Wizards of the Coast and like, hey, I got some ideas, or just keep doing what I'm doing, idea bouncing and homebrew ideas. And some of these items too, I've had that I've just make up on the fly, and my players be like, oh, are we sure we want to go with that? And I'm like, yep, I already scoped into it. It's there. Dang, for But those of you who are watching, besides, I don't know, all my many pushing ideas, have any of you had different D&D experiences, or just have general ideas of like questions, potential items that may or may not exist, or things that might be able to be crafted? So, like I can't say like every campaign is gonna be the same. All campaigns are generally like I could run. Yeah, my group we just recently ran Dragonlance, a more newer-ish, oldish, right there in the middle stream crash. Isn't around the affiliate to keep doing long hours. Oh, welcome in, viewers. Welcome in if you joined in. But yeah, no, I'm trying to borrow ideas from my childhood, so I got like Final Fantasy Tactics. That was giving me some ideas. I know some creatures already exist within D&D that I didn't necessarily have an issue with, and was like, okay, I see where they were going with that. And I was like, I could easily convert. Like I did Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid, the level 1 rogue. Gave him, I think, the human stats from 2024, and gave him firearms expertise, and then lucky. I think they're the only like worst feats to give him, and he's just broken. Like stat roll off the first roll, his majority of his skills are expertise. I think except for like food, where he's proficient in, and then he's got, I want to say, decent dex. He is like stealth and charisma around the ass. Yeah, I've done him. I've done Nightcrawler. I brought some X-Men, and so I have Kurt Wagner as a thief rogue as well. Another rogue, but that's the only one that fit. I did a 2024. I gave him the giant title, which he's not really a giant per se, but that was the only 2024 race that gave him the ability to teleport, like Misty Step wise. In 2014 rules, it was the Shadaraka, which are just high elves that worship the Raven Queen. That is all the only difference in their rates. But yeah, if you guys are just popping in and leaving me tab, I do have like command stuff for like lurk. Just quickly check and see if any other guys are on. If you start some dub too. I'm already looking at like start trying to read out. Ain't much more I can really talk about, honestly. Unless more of y'all wanna put any like ideas that you've had it experience-wise, or we're hoping to see experience-wise in D&D and never did. But yeah, I mean, most of D&D is very expressive. I'm not a big fan of the new 2024 rules, just because a lot of it I feel like they were forcing too much into it, if that makes sense. Like, what I was hoping to get a new book or set of rules, and what we got, I feel like was just kind of trash. This is like maybe a lot better. Kind of see what my guys who are physically on that may or may not trying, they're still striding for doing all kinds of stuff. D&D is crazy. There's all kinds of things you could easily look into. If you're getting into it because you like lore, definitely look up Witch lore. There's like a crap ton of it. Not as much as either Pathfinder or Warhammer. They kind of kept it kind of simplistic, so that way it gave more for the DM to kind of like, hey, I have this grasp concept. What can I play with? I think for the homebrew I'm doing with my guys, we are bringing in like Titans equivalent style um, gods into it. So if you want to think of Greek gods and their Titans before them, essential like to kind of like understand the power scope. I'm bringing back old deities that came from edition 1 to 2, possibly take off into 3, that maybe or maybe not kind of confirmation from editions 4 and 5 at the throne. And then, oh hey, here they are afterwards. So we shall see. We got that. It's a whole, like, I'm not using Neverwinter, I'm not using anything Wizards, like, landmarked. I'm making a whole new island. It's actually made out of one of the Titans I'm bringing in. Different facilities, different hierarchy here. They know all of Neverwinter, they know of Faerun, which is where all of Neverwinter resides on. A lot of it, I have it where it's like a small area of college magic kind of idea of like similar to Skyrim. Where any one spellcaster or other subclasses came together, boom, bada bing, they made it a school, so that way anyone can move their classes. And they have some portals that go from Valera to Faerun, go to Neverwinter, so that way they can have the connection real quick to get resources if need be. Or say, for some reason, terror that was at this island spread immediately right to Neverwinter. Where I was thinking this was like where Neverwinter resides on like the map world. It's like I think Critical Role has one above known realm, one below, and then Dragonlance is off past the waters, this general direction. I was kind of having a list on the other side where like if you were to bend this, the globe, it's almost on the other side of the globe from known realm. Everywhere it veils in certain spots in this island because of how magical it is will cause portals from other planes to pop in and out, which may like some story depending on how our heroes, well, not really heroes, but the anti-heroes go around and try to keep order and chaos from getting too much out of whack. I'm trying to do this homebrew more dark. So there are a lot of grotesque descriptions, how people die, how people are getting destroyed, but I'm not trying to do it where I'm killing off the main crew right off the get-go. It's one of those things where I want my players to be fully developed. I do have a spot that would be great for like a great joke. I'm just waiting on my players to give me back stories, so that way I can fully envelop their character. They want to design and character develop where they would like to. well, then cool. If not, I'll just keep on trucking. I do appreciate y'all coming out and supporting my stream. It's going to be generally a smaller campaign. They're not campaigns, sorry, a smaller session of the stream. I think I'm going to read out. As please stay and we shall spread some love to another fellow streamer just to see who's out there. Let's see if we got a few people out. You know what? I don't know if Retro's still in here, so for one for you, buddy, if you end up seeing yourself twice, we'll spread some love to Retro. Premium streamer, do another just chat. We'll go spread some love his way. So appreciate y'all joining my chat, me ramble, sharing some ideas. Appreciate you, Cole. Yeah. See you guys on the next stream.